interviewing leaders and people who are up to awesomeness in the world. I apologize, we were delayed a couple of minutes, but I think we have a pretty good reason for that. Tom, our amazing graduate in the Next Level community and crazy entrepreneur up to big things, is currently, where are you broadcasting in from, Tom?
From the island of Kauai. We've been here for almost 2 months now.
Amazing. Okay, so sometimes there's technological glitches when you're connecting for like 3,000 miles away, I guess.
Yeah.
We'll give us a pass on that one. Well, welcome. Well, it's so awesome to have you here and to pick your brain about, what you're up to, what, transformations look like in your life, all these good things. So yeah, what time is it there right now?
So we're actually 6 hours behind East Coast time. So okay. It is 2:06.
Okay, awesome. Has it been really amazing to be there during this last couple months?
Yeah, I've had quite a few people ask me, they'll say, are you stuck in Hawaii? And I'll say I'm blessed in Hawaii. So it's been pretty awesome. We've been getting this house that we have here is normally, I think 20 or 25,000 a month, and we're getting it for 4,000. So
wow.
Yeah, it's been pretty amazing.
Some pandemic prices right there.
Yeah, right.
That's awesome. So cool. So when you guys decided to go out there, was it before the pandemic? Was it like right at the beginning of the outbreak? Like, tell us a little bit about how you guys made your way out there.
Yeah, so just before the quarantine hit, actually it was the night that they shut down all like bars and restaurants in Ohio. I got word from a friend that the National Guard was being briefed on shutting the entire state down in 48 to 72 hours.
Wow.
And just before this, I finished reading Kyle Cease's book, and the last chapter said, do something in the next 24 hours, do something crazy that you always wish you would want to do.
Nice.
And I saw that there was plane tickets to Hawaii going for $188. And I was like, I'm going to go to Hawaii. And my friend on Instagram, I thought she was on the island of Kauai. Turns out she wasn't. And I just texted her, I was like, hey, I'm headed to Kauai. And
she was like, cool.
Here. And she's like, she was leaving by the time I was going to get there.
Oh
so I was like, well, I'm not really going for you. I'm going for me. So turned out. So now it's been like 7 weeks, going on like 2 months.
Oh man.
So it's been pretty cool.
That's awesome. Chris Hawker saying, hey, we're giving him a shout out back. He's our one viewer right now. Hop on, people. We wanna chat at you. Chat at us and we'll type back here. Awesome. Okay, cool. So you've been out there and you took like a little bit of an entourage. Is that my understanding?
Yeah. So I texted the Grypmat team, saw who wanted to come to Hawaii, and Alex, he was like the first to reply. And so Alex and I came out here, and then my buddy, it's been pretty cool because like recently we switched Grypmat, everything going to online direct to consumer. And my good buddy Marshall, he's out here, who he just recently sold his digital marketing company. So he's been able to we're trying a lot of new things with our digital marketing. So able to beef that up, and with Alex here, make a lot of new videos. So we've actually been able to have like record record sales with our ads. So it's been pretty amazing,
wow.
Pushing through all this with COVID. So, and then we recently got a new friend, a local named Heather. She's a nutritionist. So now we're like getting fit, and also like Alex is going through Next Level. So like,
wow,
fitness, transformation, and social media
and innovation. I love that. That's so great. Cool. Well, will you tell those? So some people might not know what Grypmat is. Will you tell us a little bit about what your product is and how it came to be?
Yeah. So I should have had one with me, but if you can see this, it's a flexible tool tray, the orange mat.
Yep.
Gives you a safe place to set your tools. So I was a F-16 mechanic in the Air Force, was tired of my tools sliding off the aircraft, and decided to solve the problem. And in my mom's car, she had a little non-slip mat to hold her cell phone in place when driving. And I was like, well, we can make these larger for tools. And it's been been working on it for about 7 years now, and starting to like build out more products, which is really exciting.
Oh, that's so cool. Wow. But I mean, geez, to take something from like the initial state to getting it out to market and have it really, really start to take off, like that's super committed to like one vision. Yeah. Like how has that been for you to just be that focused on something?
Yeah, it is definitely very, very tough to like have an idea and like be able to like pull it into reality. And, it's been really cool to see the entire process. Like the one thing I've always said is, I might not be the smartest in the room, but I'm probably the most persistent in the room. So it's not about being smart. It's about, keep going until you find a solution. So that's been, pretty intense process, but, it was interesting. I recently got asked about like knockoffs, and, at first when you get a knockoff, it feels like a dagger to the heart, but, now it's kind of like flattering that someone like stops what they're doing to copy you. And then at the same time, my initial vision was to have this product to like enhance mechanics and change the world through making the mechanics more faster what they're doing. So, these knockoffs are now are basically enhancing my vision of that coming to reality. So
that's a cool way to look at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's an empowered interpretation, we would call that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Wow. And so like during your journey of getting Grypmat out there, you've done stuff like gone on Shark Tank, you've been written up by tons of different publications. Like what was Shark Tank like?
Shark Tank was pretty intimidating. That was like a transformative process on steroids. Wow. There was like a huge issue for me of imposter syndrome that I broke through. Mm. So there's still like a lot of something I've like really struggled with in the past was like imposter syndrome, scarcity, confidence. So, I was always good at like faking confidence instead of actually like being confident. So one thing that I talk about is, I always felt so like imposter syndrome is that you're basically faking it till you make it, or like you're faking it the entire time about to get exposed in a really big way. So I felt that I was like faking this whole thing and I was about to be exposed on national television. So there's like a lot of issues with the company. Like I just did a Kickstarter and we raised like 113,000 on Kickstarter, and then like did a couple other things where like total was like 160,000. And before like we didn't ship anything out yet. And I was like, we needed to ship out thousands of products. And I was like about $3,000 in the positive at that point. Wow. So after we ship everything, I'm hoping to like be in the red, like $3,000. So wow. I was afraid I was going to get exposed on that. Another big issue was that about half the the initial batch of Grypmats that came in is that they had like an excessive amount of mold release. So they could peel them out of the mold, which means they were.
I was like, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah, that mold. So what was happening is that with that release, the Grypmats weren't grippy. Wow. So it was like an oil, like a almost like a cooking oil material. Wow. And so the Kickstarter doesn't really work. We're about to ship out bad Grypmats. Actually, we just shipped them out. Then I went to Shark Tank and I haven't like got feedback from anyone. So it was very like everything could spiral downward real quick. So yeah, it was pretty stressful. But
wow. So that was like transformational, and you broke through a ton of things. And then they had you come back on the show. Didn't you go like multiple times?
Yeah. So what happened was we did a practice pitch. You do a practice pitch in front of like the producers and the director, and did the practice pitch, and it was bomb the practice pitch because I was just so like nervous. Totally. So bad that the producer had like yell at the next line to get me to keep going. Wow. And so then the next day I just practiced in the parking lot the whole day. The day after that, did really well of the real pitch in front of the Sharks. Awesome. And then 3 Mark Cuban, Richard Branson, Lori Grenier.
What?
And then, yeah, that was pretty cool. And then came back for what they call a Shark Tank update, which they will have like a shark come in and they'll talk about like the progress of the company. So that was really exciting. We were able to film with the Air Force, which that was the first time Shark Tank was able to film with a military branch. So that was really exciting to like bring the military into Shark Tank. So
that's so cool. Absolutely. Wow. How many years ago was that?
The last time I was on Shark Tank was last year. The original filming, I think, was two years ago.
Okay, but that's like relatively recent.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, that's awesome. Wow. So cool. And yeah, so when you and I have talked in the past, you've also said that sometimes you do talks with the Air Force, and you do talks on innovation. Will you tell us a little bit about some of that? Because like that's pretty amazing too. Yeah,
it's been pretty exciting with so the Air Force has really shifted into pushing more for innovation. So that's been really exciting for me, just because there's been a lot of like innovations that might be small in the big grand scheme of things for the Air Force, but new types of innovations that could really make larger impacts. So Air Force the organization is called AFWorks. That's been really pushing hard for innovation in the Air Force. So whenever there's a base that has like an innovation summit or some type of innovation event, I get called on quite a few times to speak there. So it's been amazing to, get the opportunity to inspire other airmen and kind of show them like my route and everything through my process. And it's cool to like start to see the Air Force to change their mindset of, trying to keep, more innovation in-house and keep those airmen creating new awesome things. So it's been, I'm like all for the Air Force innovation movement. It's been a blast.
That's so cool. And you also do some, I mean, it sounded like some of the topics that you've talked about have been more on the emotional intelligence side of things as well.
Yeah, there was the last one that I spoke at, I just started speaking really hard against military suicide. So this past year was the highest rate of military suicide ever. So it's kind of like frustrates me, because there's a lot of the United States military really prides themselves on being like the best in the world. And it just, you would never guess like the strongest force in the world has, dealing with these issues of self-destruction. So, totally. The last one that I spoke at, I met my good friend Robbie, who
Robbie.
Yeah. So Robbie really well. So met Robbie, and he said, after listening to your speech, I've been, you really inspired me, and I've been wanting to do something, make a change in the military suicide. So he started a nonprofit. He's saved like quite a few people's lives through it. And Robbie's like an amazing, like heartfelt guy. He's amazing.
He's awesome. Yeah, he's been an awesome graduate in Philadelphia, and that's actually how you and I met, was through his training. You came and supported one of the trainings, and I have to say, I don't know that we've ever had somebody at Third Weekend that's been as outrageously passionate. You know how to bring the energy and enthusiasm and passion, and and you show it in your outfits and like what you're up to. Will you tell us about this kind of like get up that this is kind of like classic Tom outfit right here?
My like prototype suspenders. Actually, so my beach wear is I don't have socks on. It's too hot.
Okay. Nice. Okay. So, modification.
It was just actually how it came about was with Grypmat, I needed more money. So I sold my house, and I was like living out of my car, and I ended up in Columbus.
This is such an entrepreneur situation right now. Yeah. Okay.
I ended up like sleeping on my friend's couch, and she was like, "Hey, we need a subleaser. Do you know anyone who would be interested?" And I was like, "Me." And so I ended up moving in with Jackie and Louisa, and Jackie had like 6 wigs in her room, and she would go out wearing a different wig and have a different personality. And for my birthday, she was like, everyone's going to wear a wig. We're going to go out and do something like crazy. And so she would be like, give someone a wig and be like, this is Star likes whatever. and then I'm like, I'm not going to wear a wig, but I'm going to be Wilbur. And so at first it was like a very like nerdy like look. I'd have like tape on my glasses and like a calculator in my pocket or something. And then it just kind of like started toning down like the nerdy look. And actually, if you know Jesse Lear, that was like one of the first times I wore the outfit. Usually I'm wearing like bowling shoes.
Yes, I've seen
Jesse
that.
Lear, he, I just have like this blue suit that went really well with like the red of the like bow tie and suspenders. And I wore bowling shoes. I wore bowling shoes to his wedding, and I was like, man, that's kind of like, I don't know if I should wear that to a wedding. And I was like, okay.
Did anybody call you out on it, or were you just like the one that needed?
Oh, they were like, oh my God, are those bowling shoes? They'll be like, where did you get those? Like, did you steal those? Like, no, I'm renting them, long-term rental. Yeah. But, yeah, that's the history of the outfit. And then I'd wear it out every once in a while. And then I started wearing it the first time I went to Summit of Greatness I went to this past one and the one before that. So like 2018.
That is the first place that I saw you. You were in this outfit. And I will say, I was like, who is this VIP character with this outfit on? But it made an impression. Like when I saw you again, like whatever, a year and a half later, I was like, oh, yeah. I know you. Yes.
Yeah. I was in Detroit for the Forbes 30 Under 30 Summit, and they have like this VIP lounge or whatever. So if you're in Forbes 30 Under 30, you're called a lister. So listers are in this like little lounge, and I go up to this like bar or something, and this girl she's like, hey Tom, how's it going? And I had a name tag on, and I was just like, looked at her name tag, and I was like, hey Cassie, what's up? And she goes, oh, you don't remember me, do you? And I was like, no, I don't. And she's like, she goes, we met at CES. And I was like, which is another big trade show. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. She's like, you hosted a dinner. And I went with Ginny. And I'm actually like really good friends with Ginny. And I was like, oh, wow. I was like, that's where I met Ginny. And yeah, so I felt bad for like not knowing her. But it's funny because I said, this makes me sound so bad, but I was like, I asked her, I was like, hey, we should, grab dinner after the Forbes 30 Under 30 Summit. And I was like, asked her for a number or something. And she goes, you already have my number. And I looked at my phone, and it says her name. And then in like notes, it says Ginny's friend.
Oh, nice. Yeah, but she didn't have her signature outfit on. So,
yeah. Yeah, I'm like, if you had a bow tie and suspenders, I'd probably remember you. But
or something like a special wig or something like that.
Yeah, wear a special wig. But yeah, so that was a reflection point on me of not remembering, but also a reflection point on her for not being rememberable. So
totally.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, we have Rachel Jen on here. She says, we met at Summit of Greatness last year. Great to hear a bit more of your story. Agreed, best dancer.
Yeah, dancing, I definitely like dancing. When I was at the Forbes 30 Under 30 Summit, they had a party after. Next thing you know, I'm like on the tables dancing. There was a point where, so I sweat a lot when I dance, and I was like so dehydrated, my like thigh was cramping up, but it happened when I was in like the middle of a dance circle. But I was like trying to like play it off like I wasn't Like I wasn't like cramping up or anything.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, well, everybody had probably had a couple drinks at that thing, right?
Right.
Oh my God. So what was that like? Was there a ton of, I mean, probably not a ton of people at 30 under 30, but was there like a big group of people, or what was that experience like?
Yeah. So it's actually a really, really big event. They have, I mean, you can buy tickets. It's open to the public. They had like a lot of rock stars there. Not Kobe. There was like some like top-notch NFL or like basketball players, anything really. There's man, I'm losing everyone.
We got a regular sports fan on our hands right here.
Yeah, right.
You sound like me. I'm like Kobe or the other guy that's like super famous, but I can't remember his name. Yeah,
there was a lot of players from the Gold State Warriors, so that was pretty exciting. Seeing like top-notch musicians. I think Marshmello was there. The year before, Branson spoke. I think Selena Gomez. I'm pretty sure she was there. Yeah, it's a huge event. It's crazy. They rent out. What is it? The Masonic Temple. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. It's like
to make it a little bit weird. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like a real life Scooby-Doo house, like on steroids. It's like old school. It's actually really cool.
What was it in LA or where was it?
Detroit.
Okay, I wouldn't have guessed.
Yeah. So the Freemasons Masonic Temple.
Okay.
So it was definitely a unique spot.
That's amazing. You know, it kind of your description of it, and I don't know if you've been here before, but I'm going to throw it out there because maybe you have. In Los Angeles, there's a place called the Magic Castle. Have you been to this place?
I need to.
It's invitation only, and some people won't get invited. Like you have to know somebody who works there or who's invited you to get invited, but it's it's bizarre. It's like Harry Potter, like actually was created like decades ago. It's like a huge mansion and they do all kinds of magic tricks and it's just like a whole subculture. Anyhow, that's what that was reminding me of. And it's funny when I lived out there briefly a couple of years back, like 5-6 years back. And the second night that I moved into town, I got invited and I was like, oh, I'm in the right place. Like I was like, hell yeah. Los Angeles. Cool? Awesome. Yeah, it's super cool. Super cool.
Nice.
But Masonic Freemason Temple, 30 under 30 sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been pretty wild. So something that was pretty crazy, so we found out that I got Forbes 30 under 30, and then we found out that we were on the cover of Time magazine within the same hour. So that was that was pretty crazy.
Amazing.
What happened I didn't think I got the Forbes 30 under 30 because what happens is that every time I'd look up who got it, I was seeing last year's people. So right now, if you were to search 2020 Forbes 30 under 30, it would be like my class or whatever.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, shoot, maybe I got one more year. Maybe we can get it next year. And then it worked out. And then her name was Julia. She was a part of the Grypmat team at the time. She just showed us this picture of the Grypmat on the cover of Time magazine. And we're like, what? We applied for best invention of the year. And I think they accept 50 products. And then they just put a handful of the products on the cover. And the Grypmat being bright orange just sticks out really well with his blue background. So that was pretty exciting.
Did sales go up after that?
Yeah, that was a big bump. Got some more PR from that. So that was something I actually struggled with then was celebrating myself and also celebrating others, celebrating the team for doing that. And I really struggled with choosing happiness and excitement. I was really, really focused on okay, we got this. How do we like leverage this for more PR? So like having fun in the process was something I really struggled with. So,
because
you
you
know,
were so task driven, like let's make this next thing happen.
yeah, there was that, and also a big struggle with. I felt that I was like really like lucky, or like this was like a one-time thing. How I explained it to others is like I felt like I was getting hit by lightning, where I realized that I'm the lightning. So we can make awesomeness happen again and again and again. It's just not this one time. You know, we fell amongst like a lucky charm or something.
That's so powerful.
Yeah. So it's like a repeatable process. I guess I wasn't like trusting in myself of being a repeatable process.
Yeah, that's so cool. So will you tell us about how has transformation supported you in what you're up to and self-confidence, and what's your experience been with that, with the whole process of doing the trainings and stuff?
Yeah, I would say hands down the biggest part of value that I've got from like all the trainings was connection with my mom, with my family in general, but with my mom mostly. She's been on fire, which has been really awesome to see, and also has made me like recognize like where my strength comes from, and also made me feel like I'm not like lone wolfing. So that's been really cool. Definitely like getting better with celebrating myself, celebrating others, and like having fun in the process. I think definitely like management of stress. Communication has been big. I think like the management of stress has been like, so when I made the decision like to come out to Hawaii during like quarantine, the thing is our sales were like pretty much in the negative. Honestly, like looking at the numbers now, we were losing about $20,000 to $30,000 each month. Wow. So to like go run out to Hawaii and just like, you know, mess around was
seems like a reasonable thing to do.
Right, yeah, like is that going to be the solution to like stop losing that much money every time? So it really turned into like just like putting myself in a situation where I'm going to make it work and find a way to make it work. So I've done that like again and again and again in the past, but this was like one of the first times of like not worrying about making something happen out of like when you feel like there's no solution. So I was like really like relaxed and okay with, we're going to find a way, we're going to make a pivot, and we're going to find a solution. So I feel like having that, you know, the trainings have made me like more calm with that. And also like remembering
comfortable taking risks.
Yeah. Comfortable taking risk and comfortable in like, also just like remembering everything that I've done to this point. Like we'll find a way, you know, to break through this solution. So
yeah, that's awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So cool. So do you have some, well, first of all, if anybody has questions for Tom while we're here, please chat us up and we can answer them. And then also, Tom, like, do you have any like advice that you'd give to young budding entrepreneurs or people who are like interested in innovation, or, you know, what advice would you give to people out there who are like maybe a little scared to blaze the trail, but know that they have something inside of them to bring to the world?
Yeah, I would say a few things. Like the first one would be, oftentimes what you think will happen on day one will happen on after 3 years. So what you think will happen on day one will happen after 3 years.
Wow.
Another thing to keep in mind is, so I see a lot of entrepreneurs who they'll hit that 3-year mark, 3 or 4 years, and they'll end up quitting, where you're just about to like really start scaling up. So the thing is, as throughout your journey, just keep remembering that it's like an investment into yourself, and it's a compounding interest where you're not really going to start seeing the compounded interest like yields until, after 3 years, 4 years or so. So, yeah, I've been seeing like a lot of entrepreneur friends that have been dipping off around 2 years, and it's sad because I'm like, if you were to stay one more year, you really could have really been exponential. I think a big issue with that is comparison. Something I'll say is comparison fogs the end goal. So, some people will say, well, I could have gotten a job at Nationwide and I could be making $60,000 by now. The end goal isn't to make $60,000. The end goal is to, bring your dreams to life, or, have that invention come to life. Don't do a comparison. Think about the compounding interest, and it's gonna take at least roughly 3 years to make your dreams come true.
That's awesome. So one more question for you, because I'm curious. What's next on the horizon for you, Tom?
What's next on the horizon? Move to Hawaii permanently. No, so right now the vision for Grypmat now. So another hard part with Shark Tank was, for years my vision was to like be on Shark Tank. Now I got this thing, and I'm like, now what do I do?
Hey, your grandson. I mean, come on, right?
Yeah, right, Richie. So the vision now is to be the online tool brand, be the leading online tool brand, and basically become the mechanic's best friend. So building out an ecosystem of products that will, make the mechanic's life easier, make their job much faster. So just constantly finding solutions for the mechanic. And, some products will partner with other companies, some products will be our own. And, this is kind of part of the compounding interest I was talking about, where I'm seeing a lot of like issues in the tool industry that we could solve that, not a lot of companies are focusing on because they're stuck in like old school styles. Another like testimony to the like compounding interest is Jenny from Jenny's Ice Cream. She was, what was that? You like Jenny's?
Saying to the people who are watching, Jenny is based in Columbus.
Yeah. Huge, very popular ice cream brand. Anyway, she told me that she served behind the counter for over 10 years. So basically making minimum wage. But her now as the CEO is that she knows in depth what's happening on the ground level, very intuitively, that she can make decisions much better with the company. So I feel like now that working on Grypmat for almost 7 years now, as I'm starting to like really be able to like, expand on that compounding interest. So a lot of cool things to happen. So stay tuned.
Super cool. Yeah. So 2020 for you, I mean, it's like for some people, 2020 is feeling a little rocky, but it sounds like for you, you've really turned that into some magical stuff. So
yeah, I've been really practicing the art of turning obstacles into opportunities. So
funny that you would say that, given that you're doing more of the leadership work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for your time and your entertainment and your education. And this will be on Facebook Live. So I'm sure we'll get many more views and shares. And we'll continue to follow. What are some ways that people can follow your journey?
Yeah, so follow Grypmat, follow myself, which on Instagram, I'm Tom26Burden. If you want more dance videos, go to TikTok.
You are a massive TikToker. He's got his thing is on point on TikTok.
Or friend me on Facebook. We're going to be like making a lot more videos of our trips to Hawaii, Grypmat history, and these like podcasts and these Facebook Lives. We're going to be taking the content and adding more like B-roll and showing more of the story. So it'll be really.
And it's Grypmat with a Grypmat. yeah?
Yep. Grypat. So
Beautiful.
Facebook, Instagram, our website.
TikTok.
Yeah. Send me a DM and I'll give you my address. You can like ship me a letter or something. I'm just kidding.
No COVID
Yeah,
letters.
no COVID. No letter. Just text me.
Okay, awesome. Thanks so much, Tom. Have a
Yeah,
great
thank you.
afternoon.
You too.